I'm Andre Huey, and this is the SKN Newsline Newscast. Welcome. The health authorities are employing a 4-point strategy to curb the community spread of COVID-19 with the intent of reducing the rate of spread during the lockdown period. SK Newsline's Glenn Bart reports.
Current data on COVID-19 infections in the community spread on St. Kitts point to infections of unvaccinated persons and people with underlying medical conditions, according to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws. A 14-day partial lockdown and curfew started on Saturday, 12 June, and health authorities are working to curb the rate of the virus spread during that period. During that period, a 4-pronged attack is in play to address the community spread of the COVID-19 virus in the form of 1. Robust contact tracing, 2. Extensive testing, 3. The vaccination drive, and 4. The restriction on people movement.
These 4 public health interventions are working. Just this morning, we had a meeting with a team of experts at the Pan American Health Organization. We had to provide them with a status update, and we discussed the measures we have employed. Dr. Gerber, the PAHO WHO representative, expressed confidence in the technical team here in the Ministry of Health, and he underscored that we are on the right path in the response to this outbreak. We are in a war, and we each have a part to play. So if you are at present virus-free, I implore you to do all you can to prevent exposure to the virus. If you are COVID-19 positive, I implore you to do all you can to prevent the spread of the virus. And if you have taken the first dose of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, I implore you to return for your second dose. And if you have not yet accepted the vaccine, I implore you to come on board and accept same. Let us work together to maintain and protect the health and well-being of the people of the Federation.
As of 15 June, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases had risen to 244, with 199 cases added between 19th May to present. A total of 13 individuals were hospitalized, including 2 children. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Social activist Siobhan Richards is calling for a different approach to tourism as the country looks to reopen the economy post-COVID-19 pandemic. More in this report. Cruise tourism will not come back to its former glory, and it's time for the authorities to begin looking at different ways to structure the hospitality sector. That is the view of social activist Siobhan Richards. In an interview with SK Newsline, Ms. Richards, who worked in the hospitality sector previously, said COVID-19 is giving a chance for St. Kitts and Nevis to restructure the hospitality sector and diversify the economy. But in her view, this is not being done.
Cruise passengers don't stay in hotels, darling. They come through and they go. Another area of tourism we don't look at is the yachtsmen, right? And from Sandy Point, and you have something called Sail Caribbean, which is a school, and that's just one. And during the summer, you would see all these, like, it looked like ants, the amount of people coming off of these yachts. Yachtsmen come, sometimes they have to put their boat in or they might still, they need groceries. They're here for generally at least some of them on average a month. Yeah, all over, and they go all over. They go between Nevis and St. Kitts. Sometimes they go station for the whole period, and they tend to stay away from your port when you have a lot of cruise ships in, because somehow these 2 types of passengers clash. They don't like it, but these are people who have the most black Amex I've ever seen. Ain't coming from people off the cruise ship. It coming from the man who coming through in his joggers with his tear up shot, smelling like the seawater, has been on a boat for 3 months and just want a shower, but he gonna come and pay you with a black Amex, right? These are the people, these are the areas that we can focus on because they're gonna be staying a longer time.
She said that cruise tourism will not return to its former glory, and we must begin to look at alternatives.
I'm not convinced that cruise tourism is coming back on the level that they think. So it's like they're saying we're holding them hostage and stuff, but the cruise tourism is going to come back more in a trickle form before it comes back to what it was. What you're going to do between there, you've already invested all this money, yes, you've already lost money for a year. So, a lot of people are going back into it with this hope that it's just going to be how it was. It's not going to be that way. You're not going to be making the profits you were making before. How are you going to deal with that? This comes down to a personal decision even in your business. So we have to now figure out ways to make up for that loss.
The full interview with Ms. Richards will air on SK Newsline at a future date. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. When we come back, Prime Minister Harris calls for an end to personal attacks on professionals fighting COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis. Elliot's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliot's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500. Homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007 or 660-0186. Elliot's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis. Dedicated to those we serve.
I need some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Welcome back. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, made a call to end the personal attacks and disinformation on professionals in the fight against COVID-19 in the Federation. Glenn Bart tells us more.
Current data on COVID-19 infections in the community spread on St. Kitts point to infections of unvaccinated persons and people with underlying medical conditions, according to Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws. A 14-day partial lockdown and curfew started on Saturday, 12 June, and health authorities are working to curb the rate of the virus spread during that period. During that period, a four-pronged attack is in play to address the community spread of the COVID-19 virus in the form of 1. Robust contact tracing, 2. Extensive testing, 3. The vaccination drive, and 4. The restriction on people movement.
These 4 public health interventions are working. Just this morning, we had a meeting with a team of experts at the Pan American Health Organization. We had to provide them with a status update, and we discussed the measures we have employed. Dr. Gerbera, the PAHO WHO representative, expressed confidence in the technical team here in the Ministry of Health, and he underscored that we are on the right path in the response to this outbreak. We are in a war, and we each have a part to play. So if you are at present virus-free, I implore you to do all you can to prevent exposure to the virus. If you are COVID-19 positive, I implore you to do all you can to prevent the spread of the virus. And if you have taken the first dose of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, I implore you to return for your second dose. And if you have not yet accepted the vaccine, I implore you to come on board and accept same. Let us work together to maintain and protect the health and well-being of the people of the Federation.
As of 15 June, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases had risen to 244, with 199 cases added between 19th May to present. A total of 13 individuals were hospitalized, including 2 children. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The Inland Revenue Department has extended the deadline for the payment of taxes due to the challenges that customers are currently experiencing because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The department has taken the decision to extend the tax date from June 15th to June 30th, 2021. The taxes are Costa Levy, Island Enhancement Fund, otherwise known as the E-Fund, the Hotel and Restaurant Tax, Insurance Premium Tax, Insurance Registration Fee, the Travel Tax, Value Added Tax, the Tourism Development Levy, and the Unincorporated Business Tax. Also, the withholding tax is included in that as well. Customers are encouraged to use the e-service available or contact the Inland Revenue Department for more information.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
You know, it's me, Mr. HE, and I'm here with one message: roll up to roll out. We all know how difficult things have been during this COVID-19 pandemic. While we continue to wash our hands, wear a face mask, and practice social distancing, how about we take it one step further and get vaccinated? Call the nearest health center to find out if you are eligible to be vaccinated. Or you can contact the Ministry of Health at any one of these numbers down below. Don't be discouraged by the negativity. We all have a role to play in protecting this federation. So, St. Kitts and Nevis, let's roll up to roll out.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
Junior, can you get popcorn, please?
Don't tell Shane, Dev. Want some to plead?
I can get some salt. More, please. Boy, take your popcorn from Junie.
Welcome back. Some workers are being left in limbo as it relates to their immediate future at the St. George's University in Grenada. The workforce has now been divided into two categories, which include the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Those who are not vaccinated, as according to a statement issued by the university on May 12th, were barred from entry onto the compound on Tuesday. More from GBN News in Grenada.
Any workplace that you're working, if the employer tells you that you must be vaccinated to continue working, please do not resign. Please do not resign. If the employer insists that you can't come on the compound and is not paying you, if you have a union, your union will take up the matter, engage the company, and then it will go through the different process.
This was the message to all employees from TAU President General Andre Lewis, who also holds the posts as Labour Senator and President of the Trade Union Council. The Technical and Allied Workers Union was present at the entrance to St. George's University on Tuesday morning as unvaccinated employees were refused entry into the compound. On May 12th, SGU issued a statement reaffirming its commitment to a safe return to campus for the August term by requiring COVID-19 vaccination for all students, faculty and staff among others on campus starting June 15th. On Tuesday, those who ignored the advice of their union to not show up for work were present, while others were seen being checked on entry for their vaccination cards.
We wrote the workers and advising them that based on what the school have said, those who are not vaccinated ought not to come to the gate because the school will not allow you to come in. The workers were concerned as to whether or not, if they didn't show up to the gate, they could be accused of abandoning their job. So we wrote them, pointing out that you cannot be accused of abandoning your job because it is the school who told you not to come.
Lewis says, having engaged SGU since February, while maintaining that vaccination ought not to be a condition of employment, they are now at this point.
The school obviously has disagreed with us in the context that the workers are not dismissed. So the workers are still employed with the school. They are not allowing them to come to the compound, and they are saying that they will not be paid. We have a totally different view, and because this has happened today for the first time in terms of the actual application of that policy, we are in the process of engaging the school to start the industrial dispute resolution process.
He outlines the process the union will take toward a resolution.
We will ask the workers to contact the union. We will discuss with the workers and all of the different options in terms of the process. Certainly there must be an engagement with the school again, because there are no new conditions now. Whereas before yesterday, one couldn't say with certainty that this is the final amount of people. We know as of today, there must be a final amount of people who have not been vaccinated. And therefore that can influence the discussion as to a possible resolution.
GBN contacted SGU for a comment on this development and was informed that a statement will be issued soon. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Prisoners on remand in St. Lucia may be able to vote in the next general election, according to a report from NBC Prime in St. Lucia. Although the government of St. Lucia has not made provisions to facilitate the process, well-placed sources indicate that on election day, 328 inmates that are on remand will have a chance to vote in the election. More from NBC Prime News in St. Lucia.
Prison sources told NBC Prime that remand inmates at the Borderley Correctional Facility will be voting at the upcoming general elections. This will be the first time for St. Lucian prisoners. Constitutionally, inmates on remand are able to cast their votes. However, this has not been the case in the history of politics in St. Lucia. That is, of course, up until 2021. Some detainees may still face barriers which may exclude them from the electoral process. Electoral Commission Claudius Francis stands in favor of the move. He asserts even including convicted inmates should be afforded the opportunity to vote, as the voice of every citizen matters.
Those people at some point in time, unless sentenced to hang, have to return to society. And when they leave the prison, unless they were in there for an election offense, their right to vote is not being affected. So I have always held the view that they should be allowed to vote. With regard to the remand prisoners, there are two schools of thought on that. Clearly, they have not been found guilty of any offense, and therefore they have not been convicted. But at the same time, people who say that have to also mindful of the fact that when time comes for sentencing, the very time spent on remand counts as part of the sentence. So you really can't have it both ways.
Our prison sources also say the facility is awaiting the Electoral Department to make provisions for the inmates to be allowed to vote. The Electoral Department, when we phoned, told us it has not made provisions for the participation of inmates in the upcoming elections. What we do know is that only police, fire and prison officers will be voting in the advance poll. So how easy is it for government to facilitate voting at the correctional facility?
Very easy to get them to vote. In fact, in some of the countries that I have served as an election observer, including Puerto Rico, all you do is you declare the prisons a polling station. And all of the inmates in there, no matter what part of the country they came from, their votes count in the constituency where the prison is located. And it was a very easy exercise. I mean, very heavily guarded, but not a very strenuous exercise at all.
General elections are constitutionally due in St. Lucia, October 12, 2021. Cecil Actil, NBC Prime.
Internationally, Israel says it carried out airstrikes in Gaza overnight after Palestinians launched incendiary balloons from the territory in the first major flare-up since the 11-day conflict last month. More from the BBC.
Because the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has been broken after less than 4 weeks. Israel says it's attacked Hamas armed compounds in the Gaza Strip after incendiary balloons were launched from the Palestinian territory on Tuesday. It's the first test for Israel's new government, which was sworn in on Sunday. Tom Bateman has more from Jerusalem.
Well, these airstrikes lasted around 10 minutes. Palestinians in Gaza reported hearing extremely powerful, loud explosions as they took place. The Israelis say they targeted Hamas militant sites, and that was in response to the sending over the perimeter fence during the day of so-called incendiary balloons. Now, these are small helium balloons that are flown over the fence with burning objects attached. And this had been a tactic used in the past by Hamas in Gaza. That had set fire to some Israeli farmland, around 20 or so fires, according to the fire service in Israel. So that had been the context for this break of the ceasefire, albeit not a return to the kind of intense hostilities we were seeing a few weeks ago, and no rockets fired, importantly, from Gaza towards Israel, which would have been a sign, I think, of another steep escalation if that response had taken place as well. Now, all of that came in the context of the events in Jerusalem, and that was an ultra-nationalist flag march that took place, Israelis marching towards occupied East Jerusalem, towards the Old City, and at Damascus Gate, which is a very important gathering area for Palestinians. It's the main entrance to the Muslim quarter of the Old City. The flag parade took place there. Now, that area had been cleared in a forceful way by the Israeli police. Palestinians describe it as being aggressive and discriminatory in the way that was done. There was video footage filmed of one man being violently beaten by Israeli police on the steps of Damascus Gate. Witnesses there said that he was refusing to move. The police haven't responded to a request for a statement about that incident itself. But there was certainly the feeling among Palestinians that this was forceful policing. They cleared the area of Palestinians. The Israelis were then allowed in. Some of the marchers chanted death to Arabs and also expressed a desire for some Palestinian neighborhoods to burn. That caused Israel's foreign minister, Yair Lapid, to say that those marchers were a disgrace. He condemned what he said was racism and un-Israeli behavior. But at the same time, he congratulated the policing of the event and said that it had passed in a way that certainly they seemed pleased with in terms of the way it had been managed. So what we were witnessing was a rise in tensions again in Jerusalem, and once again some hostilities around the Gaza Strip, but certainly nothing like the hostilities, the big rise in confrontation that we saw that led to the all-out conflict of last month.
It's Tom Bateman there. Do stay with us here on.
The South African government announced stringent measures to curb the third wave of the coronavirus. The president on Tuesday extended the curfew hours to prohibit the sale of alcohol, among other measures to curb the spread of the virus. More from Africa News.
South African government announced stringent measures to curb the third wave of coronavirus. President Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday extended the curfew hours, prohibit sale of alcohol, among other measures to curb the spread of the virus. By Tuesday, Africa's hardest hit nation recorded more than 1.76 million coronavirus cases.
Hospital admissions due to COVID-19 over the last 14 days are 59% higher than the preceding 14 days. The average number of people who die from COVID-19 each day has increased by 48% from 535 2 weeks ago to 791 in the past 7 days. Our priority now is to make sure that there are enough hospital beds, enough health workers, enough ventilators, enough oxygen to give the best possible care to every person who needs it. The massive surge in new infections means that we must once again tighten restrictions on the movement of persons and gatherings.
The new restrictions come as South Africa also battles to sustain a vaccination drive that has faced delays from global vaccine shortages.
In sports, St. Kitts and Nevis ended its World Cup campaign with a 2-0 defeat away to El Salvador on Tuesday night. Here is that report. St. Kitts and Nevis ended its 2022 Qatar World Cup qualifying campaign with a 2-0 defeat away to El Salvador on Tuesday night. The Sugar Boys would have lost the home and away series 6-0 on aggregate, having lost the home game on Saturday 4-0. Despite the defeat, the Sugar Boys delivered what some pundits would rate a good run in the competition, being one of 3 Caribbean sides to reach close to the octagonal stage of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. Football commentator and pundit Al Edwards assessed the World Cup qualifying campaign of the Sugar Boys.
It's not the first time that St. Kitts and Nevis has given Trinidad and some of the bigger countries trouble. We've been knocking on the doors for quite a while. At one time, it was Trinidad playing against St. Kitts. It's 5-0 to Trinidad. That is not the case now, as you can see from results before. And as I hinted to, the gap has been narrowed between the Caribbean countries. The major problem now is when we step up to the Central American countries. Now, Trinidad cannot walk away with a mind saying that if they're not going to think that they're going to win, period. And it even seems so with the Fingers as well. So clearly the Caribbean teams are far more competitive now than they were. But we just have not taken a step closer the Central American countries. I don't think real football pundits will be surprised because even looking at the game where we lost to Trinidad, had it been our number 1 team, it might have been a different story.
One of the bright sparks of the qualification process, however, was the development of local-based players. For Edwards, this was a good sign, and he would like to see the players getting more opportunities to play professional football abroad.
Where we find that some of the local-based players are getting chances to go overseas into the professional setting. I just read on Wire that Mr. Freeman has gotten a chance to go to, I think it's Portugal's professional team. And so the likes of Somerset, who's away playing professionally. I mean, look at how Archibald goalkeeper last night. As the exposure to the level, a little higher level than what he's seen locally. He wouldn't get that kind of pressure in the local league, having shots coming at him so often and so forcefully. Somerset, Williams, Archibald, Tahir is overseas. So we need like, when we get about 20 persons overseas in a professional setting, if we cannot get to put together that Western League which I spoke about.
St. Kitts and Nevis would have won 3 of the 4 matches in the previous round before moving to play El Salvador in the next round. With those 3 victories, the Sugar Boys did not concede a goal until they played Trinidad and Tobago without some of their usual starters. In a subsequent report, we'll hear from coach of the senior men's national team, Leo Nieva. In Tuesday's other World Cup qualifiers, Curaçao drew 0-0 with Panama, having lost the previous leg 2-1, and Canada drubbed Haiti 3-0, having defeated them 1-0 in the first leg. That means Canada, Panama and El Salvador have all progressed to the final round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, joining the USA, Mexico, Jamaica, Honduras and Costa Rica that had already qualified for that stage. Internationally, led by Kevin Durant's 49 points, 31 in the second half, 17 rebounds and 10 assists, the number 2 seed Brooklyn Nets defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 140-108 in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals on Tuesday in New York. Here are the highlights, courtesy of Turner Sports and NBA.com.
With the series tied at 2 games apiece, James Harden urgently working back to get back in time for Game 5, and he is ready to go after leaving in the first minute of Game 1 of this series. And in the first, James Harden struggling, missing the three-pointer. Harden misses another three-pointer. His shot was not going down on this night. Milwaukee already up 9-2. Giannis Antetokounmpo with the block on Jeff Green. Look at him go up and swipe that thing. And yeah, we got that replay technology. Beautiful block from Giannis. Then Drew Holiday finding the aforementioned Antetokounmpo, hanging in the air for the layup there. 19-6, Milwaukee in front. James Harden, now you can expect some rust, and there it is, passing that one right out of bounds. 0 points, 2 turnovers in the first half. Pat Connaughton drives in for the layup plus the foul, and Milwaukee just had it going early on, makes the free throw as well. Then Giannis hits the jumper. Later, Bucks in transition. Giannis drives in for the easy dunk there. Then it's Giannis driving in for a layup. This one a little more difficult, but he did get it to go. At the half, Milwaukee up by a cool 16 points. Could Brooklyn come back in this thing? Well, Chris Middleton drives in for the layup plus the foul. He missed the free throw, and Milwaukee still holding on to a nice lead. But then James Harden hits a floater here, and Brooklyn started to pick it up. Kevin Durant to Jeff Green for the 3. He just steps right into it, shoots confidently, and knocks that one down. Then James Harden to Kevin Durant for the lay-in, and at about this time, Kevin Durant started getting going, and James Harden another gorgeous pass to Joe Harris for the layup. All of a sudden, it's a 5-point game. Later in the third, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Watch the confidence on this shot. Pulling up and nailing the three-pointer here. That pushes the lead back to 8. In the fourth quarter, KD taken over. Watch him work for the space and fade and hit the jumper. Then Kevin Durant finds Bruce Brown for the layup. Nice little pass to get it to him down low. Then Kevin Durant, the long 3, and Brooklyn pushes in front here. They're up 94-93, so the comeback is complete. Kevin Durant now working on his jumper. That puts him up by 3. Then Jeff Green back down to a 1-point lead. How about 4 after that three-pointer? It's 104-100, less than 4 minutes to go. Drew Holiday drives and going to pick up a little floater here, working past James Harden. And that tied it at 104, so the Bucks have come back. Kevin Durant, shot clock winding down. Desperation heave for 3, and you better believe it, knocked it down. 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, a monstrous, historic triple-double for Durant, but the game wasn't over. Little turnover from the Bucks here. Durant gets fouled on this one. Here it is one more time. Giannis Antetokounmpo just couldn't hang on to the pass, and the Nets sealed the game at the line again. Kevin Durant, an absolute hero in this one, as Brooklyn wins it 114-108 and takes a 3-2 lead in the series.
This has been the SKN Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching. For more news, you can visit our website at www.sknewsline.com or visit our Facebook page. From all of us here at SK Newsline and Channel 95, I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.